Hello, 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 everybody. Hey, Ohio.
Hey.
The quickness. Hey.
Hi.
Alrighty, we'll get started. So, hey guys, how's it going? My name is Justin,
Mark.
and you're watching and are listening to episode 416 of DangIT Prodcast. Welcome back, everybody. Uh, as you can see, I got Mark here with me. Our actually he's been showing up a little bit more frequently, but had to not make it to this one. Phil doesn't seem like he can join us today for now. If anything changes about that, I'll let y'all know about that. It's just a matter of just like him texting, and he'll set himself ready in case that could be a thing. It's a shame though, because I know that he wants to jump in specifically for this one, because this is definitely the Xbox related one. But stick around, because if not this week, next week he'll let you know for sure. I've been busy this whole day so far. But Mark, how are you doing?
All right.
It's good to hear. So aside from what was happening today, we have a pretty like stacked week like to reflect on. But first things first, Mark, have you been up to anything this past week?
Have I been up to anything? In terms of anything regarding, I guess anything new? Not much. Just mostly been. Yeah, I'd say mostly just been doing my own thing. Just been doing some of the Ninja Gaiden
Oh,
series.
cool.
Been
Has been
yeah,
announced to Capcom, or sorry, not Capcom, Game Pass recently.
yep. And on top of that, yeah, I was just at my grandma's yesterday. That's about it.
Oh, okay, for sure. I'm kind of the same way. I've just been kind of doing my own thing here. Not much gaming, to be honest. I kind of like done like a little bit more of a transition towards like editing a little bit more than just kind of catching up on the backlog. It seems like I can only do like one or the other, but it's just about actually scheduling time to do that. Almost treating it like its own job. It's not, but you know.
It's not, but it also is.
Yes, but also no.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Sorry about the delay on this one for those who are tuning in live. I'll go ahead and talk about that in just a little bit. So today I was doing a lot of cleaning. Just wiping off the floors. I actually spent a little bit more time just cleaning up this this mat for the chair. We have hardwood floors here, and just to prevent from scratching, like my rolling chair sits on top of this mat, and so it was the first time I've actually cleaned it in a while I was cleaning up the rest of the floors. So it feels a lot better, almost a little slippery like, but it's brand new. But after that, I was organizing some stuff here and there so I could reach out to David. For those of you who don't know, David was someone who would jump in for a lot of our video let's play stuff, but also shows up on podcasts like earlier on. It's just that we haven't really talked to each other in a few years actually. We've just been doing our own separate thing, but I was able to reach out to him and like have this little get together with him, just to get some coffee, some food, and just kind of catch up on a lot of things. But he's been doing very well. He's like in a really good like place right now, so I was happy to really catch up. And we're hoping to do more get-togethers as far as like couch co-op stuff. And that aside, also do like some like video stuff like for the channel as well, so stay tuned for that. That'll be something that'll be a project like for July, that's for sure. But
Content.
content, friends, catching up. I was actually super relieved to know that everything was doing fine with them. It's just that like I found that we just get ourselves like super busy to a certain point where the whole friend drifting apart type of thing actually starts to become a visible thing that you notice. And it's of course nothing like you don't have any like beef with this person. It's just like you get so busy, and if you don't like really keep track of that stuff, like over time, like that's what happens with the whole drifting effect. So it was just like super nice to like really catch up and just start talking as if like nothing's really changed at all. Yeah, it was super cool. Um, but sorry about that. Let's jump into the stuff that happened this past week. I wasn't able to really write down much stuff because of like what was happening earlier today. I really should have elaborated on this stuff, but I kind of assumed that Phil would jump in with us on this one and just like start giving us paragraphs to work with. And I was like, nice, but not this time. We actually need to work with it ourselves. So I'm currently trying to type in like a couple of the things that happened today. The main things are pretty much Xbox and Bethesda, Capcom's like game showcase, Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary celebration, a little bit of Dragon's Dogma actually, even though I'm not really at all versed in that series.
That was certainly a surprising one.
Yes, and then there was one last thing. Actually, no, it had something to do with like something we did with I did with Phil last night. I'm not sure if I want to touch up on that versus everything else. I think I should because it is the shorter bit of everything. It also has a great joke in it. But last night actually, I didn't do any streaming because I was actually jumping in with Phil and his wife Katrina for a round. Actually, not just a round. The entirety of the campaign story of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. It's a game that came out this past week, if I recall exactly. I know it came out on the 16th or 17th, 16th. Yeah, and my God, dude, it was a really good time for sure. Yeah, we definitely got to like the quiet, sleepy hours during that, and I can't help but feel like I got really quiet, and I just got like the resting bitch face on me. I couldn't help but feel that anyway. I'm not sure if it like translated the same way, but there was still a lot of fun. Like honestly, if I could reflect back on it right now, it's just that there was a lot of attention to detail on just animations, and it's a beat 'em up of all things. So like it's not like too complex as far as like the gameplay, but just like the overall aesthetic was really nice. T Loops did a lot of the music. Shout outs to T Loops. That's he did that. He did Streets of Rage 4. Some may know more over on Sonic Mania. It's just like it's a really stellar soundtrack. And that's not even talking about like how fun like the combat can be itself. So, and for anyone who's like curious about the game, you guys can go ahead and like check it out through Game Pass. It's something you can easily clear like within a couple hours and you're good. And if you want to like complete the game through Xbox, like get the achievements and whatnot, that's totally doable too, apparently. So totally recommend that. They also have physical editions coming out soon as well.
Odd.
So yeah, no. Sorry. I'm sorry, Mark, that you weren't able to join in with us. I understand your situation given, but Katrina couldn't help. Katrina couldn't help. But say that you're weak.
I was tired.
I understand. You were out for the entire day. You just got back. It's around like 9 or 10 something for you. And we just said like, let's do it. And you're like, I'm a little tired.
It was
over like weak. Weak. The week is late.
You 3 hours behind. What you mean?
It's true. So it applies differently for you. I understand that. And to that, I make these jokes, but I'm actually really sorry that someone particularly bullied you for it.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, no, I'm 3 hours behind. What you mean?
But yeah, definitely, Mark. I totally recommend it. The fact is that there's just a lot of charm to it. Phil mentioned that a lot of it's like from the 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So like if at all you were curious about that, it'll just have like a different energy about it. And I think it's great that like it specifically highlights that type of era, since we've had like different like iterations of the Ninja Turtles. This is the one that just feels so much more like laid back about it, I feel personally. Another thing to cover before we jump into the big stuff. Real quick. I know that I watched the recent like part of Obi-Wan, but not Miss Marvel.
I did.
Did you catch up on Miss Marvel? Just checking. Haven't? Okay, we're good. Dude, which part is it now? Part 5, I think. Yeah, no, all I can say is just like really high praise to this like part for Obi-Wan. They finally they kind of really showed you exactly why they casted what was his last name? I'm totally drawing a blank, But it really was like in this kind of massive spoilers. Um, in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. But we're talking about like a little flashback of Obi-Wan like training up with Anakin. Anakin here portrays a lot more of an aggressive side to like lightsaber fighting, and Obi-Wan's just kind of teaching him the fact that like you can't be like this in order to win. So
Yeah,
stop
the
doing
goal is
that.
not. Yeah, your obsession on winning is gonna hurt you in the long run.
Essentially, and that is why he remain a Padawan for now. It's kind of like one of those like harsh, like tough love type of sessions where you're just like showing him like what's what, and as a result, Obi-Wan does end up winning that little like sparring match. Obviously, it's a little bit different now. If they were to go like one on one, we kind of saw a little bit of that. Um, but most of that was definitely just kind of seeing almost as if like it's Vader's side of like that perspective. But it's definitely one of those things where like you look at the cast and it's definitely just like, I guess for lack of better words, it's kind of like a love letter to like fans who watch like the original movies there, who've seen the actors go through it and see like Anakin. Obviously, he can't like, unless you CGI it a little bit more. You can't make him look as young as he was in Revenge of the
Because
Sith at the very least.
yeah, because Hayden Christensen's aged.
He's definitely aged a little bit, so you see that a lot in his face when you like see this interaction between them like in the
It's not.
past.
It's not too bad.
It's
He's
not
not
too
his
bad.
age too bad. Like it's you. It's just like a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done more, but I think they did this a little bit more on purpose, and that's for the fans. And for me personally, I'm totally down with that. I think it's really nice that they didn't really go all the way like they would with Samuel L. Jackson in like Captain Marvel, where they completely de-aged this dude. That could have been
That was
expensive tech stuff.
impressive though. That
That
was
was like really
impressive
impressive.
though.
That could have also been really expensive, but either reasoning for it, I'm glad that they decided to go with this portrayal of Anakin during that flashback. Um, Also just the sheer fact that like we keep seeing that part of him, but also seeing like how Vader currently is now, and it's kind of hard for me to believe. Oh, actually, maybe not so much. That over the past decade, he's like just really changed. Like his whole demeanor's changed. Now he just bosses people around. That's that's how he's seeking like new world order. Um,
You're also leaving out probably one of the most terrifying displays of the Force we've ever seen.
Honestly, wait, which one are we talking about? Are we talking about how he absolutely worked Reva?
Not that part. That part was already like, wow. But I'm
Oh, are you
talking
talking about
about
like
before.
when the ship was about to leave and then Vader just grabbed
That
it?
ain't going nowhere, dog.
That was, bro, that's Force Unleashed. That's Force Unleashed like
I was
display.
like, that's one of the most incredible Force feats we've seen in the movies. I was like, holy shit.
This is true. I'm so happy they did that because I was in the same boat too, where I've seen like the movies before. It's been a while, but obviously like the only crazy display of like Force was probably like um what was the movie Nine's name? It wasn't
Rise of
right.
Skywalker.
Yes, it was Rise of Skywalker. It was when Palpatine actually like did some crazy stuff. I think he brought down like a fair number of like fleets or just ships with just lightning. And I thought that was like incredibly like intense because of just like the circumstances there. It's just supposed to like serve as like the climactic bit of like the movie. But that was probably the biggest display that we had seen like in the movies. And then this like, but what Vader did alone in this like part of Obi-Wan, that is nothing to scoff at either because no one really does that.
This man just grabbed a ship in mid flight, brought it back down, and ripped it open.
Yeah, the ripping part was kind of crazy. Like it wasn't one of those things where it's like, He literally just like, nope. Where are
Rush,
you? Where are
rush.
you?
He said, get your ass out here.
The funny thing is the fact that like they had one right beside it and then left with it. I was like, Bora.
I was like, huh, told you.
He just looked at it. I was waiting
He's
for
like,
like Vader to absolutely just like explode for that.
he's just like, son of a bitch.
But then that's when Reva showed up and he was like, you were wise. He was wise to use you against me.
Yeah, because we found out she was one of the younglings.
This is true. I guess that's I mean, that's one of the reasons why they showcase like Order 66. Like that makes more sense too. She was there, and
I was wondering what happened to those kids.
yeah, um, I don't want to really bring it up too much, but I feel like it's one of those things where like it had to happen just for the sake of the story, but just due to recent events, like it doesn't really look too good. But all things considered, what happened was that she was there. A lot of younglings died, and she kind of like mimicked them as well. She didn't die; she just played dead during that time. I was like,
Hit herself amongst the bodies.
yeah. I was like, oh, well, I guess that makes sense. She has a lot of
Do what
fear
you
in
got to
him.
do to survive.
Honestly, yeah. But that's why she knows so much about like Vader. It was a good point on Obi-Wan's part to question that during like very quick negotiations. He was asking about like how in the world do you know like who like Vader is? It's funny
No
how
one would know.
yeah. I know he mentioned it before, but it was kind of interesting how Obi-Wan now started to like identify like that as Vader and just kind of use it more casually instead of just saying Anakin. I think he's kind
Shit.
of I think that was more of a part of just him moving forward with like the traumatic experience, accepting the fact that this happened because obviously he just had to like go into the tank for a little bit to recover from this. So it's best that he just kind of move forward.
I know, and sure enough, next episode's probably going to be the legendary rematch.
Yeah, maybe because like to be honest, like I feel like obviously that rematch happened in A New Hope, where it really was like that was the last stand for Obi-Wan, but honestly, I still feel like Vader has every like upper edge, like upper hand against fighting anybody. Even if he isn't like fully human, he can't like use lightning or anything, like for example. But like if there was any doubt about like his prowess, just look at that fight with Riva. She had like so many like different like things going on with that lightsaber. She had like dual wielding, or I'm sorry, not dual wielding, but yeah, could be dual ends. It also like spun around a little bit too,
Yeah,
and
she made it into a saber staff.
yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then Vader stopped it. And the crazy thing is that like he could have done so much, but like he grabbed that lightsaber and then like obviously it was definitely like a design thing where he like split it in two and gave the other half to Riva to like fight like a little bit more honorably and still absolutely like took advantage of it. It
He's
was
legit flexing.
dude, that was bruh. I'd say that's disrespectful, but he at least honored to give her like one end of the lightsaber to just do it like naturally, do it a little bit more formally, and she still lost. Like, he's
That's
too
when he
good.
said, You really think I'd forget?"
Mm-hmm. And
He said,
honestly,
I knew it was you."
he also said that too. That's my god, dude. That's ever since that day, I have memories. I see everything. It's so wild too. Just not even like during that like particular part of the fight. It was just like when she was just attacking him and he just dodged everything or force stopped everything.
Didn't even need his lightsaber.
He didn't even need it. He didn't. That entire fight, he didn't even pull out his own.
Just sheer force.
That's too strong, dude. Now I get it. Now I get it.
Now you get why he's a menace.
Why he's like one of the most like powerful Siths out there.
Oh, he's nothing to scoff at.
Mm-hmm. And man, I know that people mention this. You mentioned a couple times before, where it's like in interviews, it's said that like Qui-Gon, like if he was still alive, he would be the one to stop Anakin from turning like that. I was like, man, dude, do my man Obi-Wan some disjustice, but at the same time honoring Qui-Gon for what he could do. I feel so bad for Obi-Wan at that point. I wonder if he'll be able to talk to Qui-Gon at the end of all this. He should.
They've been hinting that they brought imagine just bringing Liam Neeson back one part in an episode.
I hope so. Like honestly, I want Obi-Wan to have like an honest talk to him, apologize that he couldn't save like Anakin, and ask for some kind of guidance on what to do forward. And I think Qui-Gon would just be like, things happened. There's no turning back time. you just gotta do what you gotta do. Something like that. Something that just kind of like help Obi-Wan commune back with the Force a little bit more so. Even though he's able to push a lot of people like back with his, just now that he got in touch with the Force one more time, I think he's well versed to at least do like a bit of damage with it. But
Obi-Wan is far.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Mark, couldn't quite hear you for the last couple bits there.
Obi-Wan by far is one of the most powerful Jedi there's ever been. It's the fact that he's really out of practice.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, like I feel if he was a lot more like in touch with the Force, and he used it a little bit more often. Albeit though he was able to hold off every single like stormtrooper for a certain like amount of time. It's still really impressive regardless, but that win in itself, like if a lot of the Jedis or Siths just started using the Force a little bit more so, I think that'd just be something really cool to see, honestly. And Vader just kind of like showed you a little glimpse of that too.
There were, of course, like throughout the story, there's been some Jedi who had lightsabers, but they used the Force more often, like Yoda.
Yeah, dude,
Yoda
man.
used way more Force than he did his lightsaber.
Man, dude, I still remember like episode 2 where like he walks up like in the door entrance, he's like whoosh, and he just sends like two guards like backwards. And then, and then he proceeds to say Count Dooku.
Dooku. Count Dooku.
Speaking of like Yoda, I hope to see a little bit more about Grogu and his like development.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see like Grogu like do more work.
Because Grogu is very strong in the Force, as we've seen.
Yeah, he may not master it the same way as Luke has, but I mean that's now a somewhat trained Jedi like out there with Mando. So
yeah, and it's not only that; it's also the fact that you got to remember that Grogu also survived Order 66.
he did. But like, wait, what, did we ever hear about like how he particularly survived? Oh yeah, no, wait, no, there was flashbacks. I remember his old master sent him away. He himself couldn't fight though, so
Yeah, his master just sent him like, "Save yourself."
Yeah. So it was one of those things where like he was just kind of like kept secret, and he was. I forget like what happened, but apparently he was just kind of all over the place. Thankfully, Mando was where he was. And at least Grogu kind of like had more of communications with like people who actually knew better. But I did like the fact that he had a choice in the matter. It's sad though, because I have to bring this up every time, but every single time I see like the representation of Luke, I always have to see like the Last Jedi's representation as well. Because like this is Luke. This is how he's gonna end up thinking, how he's gonna end up being.
I know, that's why I'm like, can we just get rid of Last Jedi?
Can we just can we force forget? But I don't know. I wonder if they'll do well to like kind of weave that character or like somehow like develop it to a point where like we'll start to really see that. But all other like representations of Luke has always been kind of like he is that main protagonist. He's been through the ringer, so he knows what to say. He knows what to do.
Yeah, and I mean he doesn't get like that until after what happens with Ben.
Yeah, man, that's really unfortunate. But I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about as far as Obi-Wan. The thing with Miss Marvel, I do want to like see episode 2. I just didn't have time like today, but and throughout the rest of the week. Your boy's been doing quite a bit of overtime, so I haven't really been able to do that and stream at the same time. So it's been a juggle, but eventually I'm gonna hit like episode 2 for Miss Marvel, because episode 1 was really good. Like it was a really good start of everything. So I have some higher expectations for episode 2. I'll probably watch it maybe after this or even during like dinner time. But yeah, for now, we'll just kind of like leave that like on the table or on the shelf, and then we'll revisit that when we get the chance. Mm-hmm. But Mark, that we're now going to cover all the gaming stuff this past week. It was a lot. Not gonna lie. Wish that
Oh boy.
I wish Phil was the one to like kind of like be in charge of this particular part of it. But I'm gonna try my best to
We could
cover.
always save it, Phil.
We could save it for Phil. Do you want to do that?
We could. I mean, honestly, the only reason I say that is because the man could literally do this with his eyes closed.
You're right. How about we maybe say a couple things that we were like excited for Xbox, because to be honest, it was one of those presentations that I felt like would at least attract one person for one particular series, or plural, because
Absolutely.
they just have so many like first parties under like their wing now. So it's just like it's just a matter of like something will like reach out to you for sure. If it's not like here, it's somewhere like being released on Xbox for sure. That's what I feel. And all this like it kind of like opened up like a different understanding of like or perspective of mine, where you kind of like walk into these presentations, and for me personally, for a while I always had this anticipation that I would like everything, and this is one of those where I actually had mixed feelings, because like there was only like one or two things that I really liked, and the other things I was like, it probably appeals to someone else. And I think that's just something I need to like accept, like when it comes to like Xbox, like particularly, but it's also applies to all the other like platforms as well. Like for the Direct, there would probably be like one or two things. PlayStation, probably one or two things. It's just a matter of just whatever you do see, that will probably like stick with you. So for me, for example, for Xbox, definitely Starfield, right? Redfall is interesting, but I'm not really too gung ho with that one. I looked at Minecraft Legends, for example, and I was like, that probably appeals to someone, but I'd rather just have the OG experience. That Sea of Thieves announcement for its new season was actually kind of exciting for me. Um, we might have to try out like Naraka Blade Point though, the battle royale.
Oh yeah, I tried it.
Was there anything else? I'm kind of looking through the main website on what they did show off. They did show Diablo 4. I am kind of curious about that. And I might try out Midnight Suns for Marvel.
Same.
But that's pretty much it on my end. Was there anything that like really like stuck out to you that you're really excited for, Mark?
It was probably Starfield and like Starfield, Naraka Blade Point. What else? Definitely the Sea of Thieves season that had me very excited.
You're so giddy. I couldn't help but like feel that energy. I get it though. Free loadout, finally get loadouts of like the things you select, so you don't have to do that every single time.
Not only that, but finally naming the ship.
You can finally name the shit. Oh, sorry, not the shit. The
You
ship.
can name the ship.
I can finally call it Big Booty. She got a big booty, so I call it Big Booty.
She got a big booty, so I call it big booty.
Or we can call this ship Quick Dickin'.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
But they also, I think there was a lot more options to design the interior ship too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of in on that too. I was like, ooh, I like that.
Can't wait.
But were there anything else?
The Pelican for Flight Simulator.
Oh my god, yeah, I remember that. I was like, dude, it's so funny seeing it like just ride like along the seas and then like into space, and how it looks like Halo, but obviously it's just like the Pelican.
Mm-hmm.
They do a good job. I should like Flight Simulator is one of those things I should try out, but I get like apprehensive because like you're kind of learning some of the controls there, and I was like, ooh, I'm not sure if I could do so well with this. But it's on Game Pass, so I mean, like also kind of like helps with coercing others to kind of try it out for the first time. So
And Grounded did get its full release.
yes, that means the full story Well, yeah, the full story is going to be available for folks. Is that September? Or was that recent
I,
or closer?
I can't remember exactly.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did. They're finally getting out of their beta, and it will finally be a legitimate release for it. So that's actually really nice.
Mm-hmm. That
But
and Starfield looks very good.
mm-hmm. Yeah, for Starfield, I was definitely in it when they showed the space combat and just like the space like customizations of the ship. I was like, yes, that's what I want. Because like Bethesda like shootout like gameplay will always kind of look similar to each other, and I get it. That's part of like the taste of it. I'm not like the biggest fan of that, but I can totally just work with it. But definitely that like the space stuff, customization, the flying, I'm in for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in.
I mean,
You son of a bitch. I'm in.
you son of a bitch. I mean,
So that's pretty much everything. I'm definitely satisfied with what they did with Xbox and Bethesda this time around. I'm
mm-hmm.
just hoping to hear a little bit more later on for sure. Because it really does feel like we have like these really small windows in which like we hear more about like the first parties doing something. And that's not even talking about the third party stuff either, per se. Oh, also, real quick thing, Silk Song finally getting like an additional like announcement, so it should be
Persona.
released within the year. It seems just based on what Xbox was saying, all the games that they focused on was going to be released within a whole year, of which like we're seeing it right now. So hopefully we'll see Silk Song very soon because Hollow Knight was like perfect, near perfect, if not was perfect. But all right.
Don't forget Persona.
Oh yeah, that's right. So right, so they're working with Atlas slash Sega on just, releasing Persona 3 Portable, 4 Golden, 5 Royal, pretty much all the like up to date like versions of those games put onto the Xbox. And I think that's great, honestly, because um I don't know how you would get to 3 Portable in this day and age without like going back to like I guess the PSP or something like that. Um but the fact is that this is opening a lot more JRPGs for the console, so that's perfect. I'm curious though, does that also apply to Game Pass on PC? So that if that's the case, then you can have all these running on a PC. So I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
It's going to Norse.
But yeah, was that anything else? I honestly kind of hoped, like, I made the prediction about this last time. I was hoping that we would see something from Bandai Namco, but if they were focused on the first parties, understandable. Um, and the reason I was pointing out Bandai Namco is because I was really hoping to see something, just due to the success of Scarlet Nexus. I was hoping to see maybe an announcement of a sequel. They might have something in the works, but they won't really say anything until they got something ready.
That would have been nice. Either that, or something. Some kind of. It's been a while since their last fighter for the last fighting game. Honestly,
This is true. It's funny because yeah, Bandai Namco does do a lot of like fighting games too. No matter like how good or okay like the games are, like at the very least they do kind of like work in that corner for sure. So I think the next exciting thing for them if they announce anything fighting game related would have to be Fighters 2 or something. It just
fighters
had to be.
are the next one they're working on.
This is true. Unless they went like in some different like direction and had like a whole other franchise like take on fighting games, that'd be kind of cool too. I just don't really know what else would there be because um I think it was published by Sega. I think it was CyberConnect 2 that worked specifically for Demon Slayer, right? I know that Demon Slayer recently came out for the Switch actually. Um
Mm-hmm.
but I forget, did Bandai Namco have anything to do with that too? I feel like they would. Um
Yeah,
trying to
Bandai had something to do with the Demon Slayer game.
Yeah, I'm actually just gonna look that up real quick to see if like where they're affiliated. Um, actually, I don't think so.
No, they do. I think they're the publisher.
It just says that like it's Sega, Aniplex, and Sega America.
Could have swore Bandai had something to do with it.
Right? That's what I feel. I was like, wait, hold on, there's something not right about this. But no, it looks like there was nothing like Bandai Namco related on that one. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm just seeing when you do the Google search on it. But yeah, they have like a bunch of like games they could like possibly bring up. But for Bandai Namco, I think they might want to focus on what was it? Tekken maybe?
So they got that, and they got the JoJo game coming out.
Oh right. Yeah, no, you're right.
That and One Piece Odyssey.
One Pencil Odyssey. Oh yeah, what was Anaya's take on that? I think he didn't really
He
actually
said
give you one.
hopeful, but not holding his breath.
Got you. I shared a video with Naya the other day. It was actually World Seeker because it was on TikTok, and I didn't know what was going on with this one. They had Zoro as the leader of the party, and they checked the map. It was absolutely pixelated out, and I was like, "There's no way they just did that." But yeah, no, yeah, that's a legitimate thing. It seems we picked Zoro. You can't see the map.
Yeah,
That's so messed up, but so funny.
it's also very accurate.
Just very accurate.
The man's terrible with directions.
I don't know. That's why he has like a captain. That's why he has a captain.
He handles the directions.
He handles directions. He just has swords. He's willingly working like that. But yeah, okay. In that case, for the rest of like the more detailed talks about Xbox and Bethesda, we'll leave that to Phil next time he jumps in. If that's the case, we can also talk a little bit briefly about like Capcom and Dragon's Dogma and Final Fantasy VII's anniversary. I'm gonna be real honest. Street Fighter 6 has got me acting up. I'm looking at
good.
that. I was like, this might actually be the one that I'll really, really, really jump in like day one and give it a try.
Same.
Because I think it's like, I think what they have set up for like the possible like first player like or single player experience, which is like you just developing your own character and just kind of walking around. You might be able to challenge people online, but I just think that's a really good entry point as well. Not to mention just the simple timing of it. Like we're talking about a game that has crossplay. We're having one that has like really good netcode, so it's just overall really good for like Street Fighter as well as just fighting games as a whole. Just the accessibility of it. So I'm actually kind of down for that. Next thing was Sunbreak. We talked a little bit about that. Yes, they announced other new monsters. They showed off the demo. We both had like our hands at trying out that demo, and the game's coming out at the end of the month. So prep yourselves on that one.
Gore Magala.
Oh yeah, Magala was the You were showing me the costume of that one, right? The
armor.
Yeah, that was the one with like a very like particular purplish like scheme to it, but also had like a good layer of black on it too. I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool to see Gore Magala because he is an absolute fan favorite. Like if you look at his gameplay from other games, like, he just does a lot of crazy shit.
Okay. Where was his initial appearance? Was it Frontiers?
I don't know I don't think it was Frontiers. Let me look it up. Gore Magala. What's wild about him is just the fact that he's got this black look, but he can also just become gold.
Like our Monkey?
That, but even more so.
Oh, okay.
Like, let's see here. Gore Magala, introduced in Monster Hunter 4.
Oh, I might have an opportunity. Like, if I ever jump back into 4 Ultimate, I might actually come across this one.
Monster Hunter 4, Monster Class, Unknown, and Elder Dragon.
Nah, I think Elder Dragon just does it. Does
A-
enough.
ailments, frenzy virus.
Right, I think you're telling me about that. That was a huge thing.
But yeah, frenzy virus is a huge thing.
Mm.
Like, hold on. Says here, Gormagala is a very unique wyvern, sharing traits and similarities to that of the elder dragons, possessing 6 limbs, including the clawed wings on its back.
Okay.
Its body is covered in dark exoskeleton plates with notable features, including the hidden feelers that are folded alongside its face, the lack of visible eyes, and fanged jaws that are actually a part of its external armor plates.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah, if I recall, like the way like they portrayed it in the trailers when reintroducing Gora, it was it had its wings slash like claws were actually on its shoulders, and you could
Mm-hmm.
you see it immediately. But it's one of those things where like he could beat you with his arms folded, my guy.
And then, of course, one that a lot of people were really excited about was Espinas.
Oh yes, that was the I'm gonna
That's the one
actually
from Frontier.
yes, okay. I'm gonna take a look at the image on that one. Yes, okay. So
It was really
wild.
cool to see. Really cool to see him in the game.
Honestly, yeah, it's just really cool to see all these returning like ones, especially when you know that they're gonna drop some like really cool armor, or like it allows you to craft a lot of cool armors.
Oh, absolutely.
But we did, yeah, they had the demo ready. It was kind of weird for me because I'm not sure if you had this experience, Mark, but when I was trying to look for the demo specifically, I figured it would be something where you just go to Sunbreak, but it was never there. In fact, you have to go to the
Yep,
O. Yeah, you have to go
just a
to
regular
OG.
demo.
You have to go back to OG Monster Hunter Rise and just click download demo, and it gives you the option of like the original or like Sunbreaks. That's where you find it. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
dude. All right, we'll start downloading it. But man, dude, what was that? I think Monster Hunter Rise like Sunbreak as by itself is how many gigs? 13?
I think so.
Like that's kind of like for a Switch game, like that's kind of sizable actually. That's almost a full-fledged game.
Hmm. And we also have they gave us the roadmap.
Yes, they did. Um
Whole lot coming.
yeah, they're doing the smart thing. They're spanning it out within like the seasons. So there's always going to be something new to show up each time. Even if it doesn't like really progress much, but they're always adding new stuff regardless. So I think what they're doing is really smart about it. As for the future, well, like a lot of the future for Monster Hunter Rise or Monster Hunter in general will just be like within Sunbreak. So that's super nice. Will it be part of the main base game if you don't have Sunbreak? I don't believe so. I think you actually have to get Sunbreak for that.
Hmm.
But what I think is really cool is the fact that you can. I think they'll start selling retail copies of like Rise and Sunbreak together. So for those who are really concerned about like digital spacing, for sure, be on the lookout for that. I might actually even jump in for that, even if it's technically a double dip. Nah, dude, Monster Hunter Rise was worth it though. Even for the Switch version, it's like really impressive.
Hmm.
But yeah. Also, last thing for Capcom that really got my eye was Resident Evil stuff. Honestly, like for me personally, like I'm not like a huge fan of horror games. Just just to be out there, yeah, not really the huge fan, but I don't
Same.
know, like knowing how cool like Resident Evil 2 was for like what you did see of it, and Resident Evil 3, although it was a little bit more action oriented and not too much horror, there's also a bunch of other factors that make it like not as great as far as a remake versus RE2 remake. But there's the hype between that. There's Village that recently got like the announcement of the whole third person like perspective of it, which I think I'd like a lot. not a fan of the first person. um, and then also like RE4 remake, which obviously, if you know the legacy of RE4, you know that it's like it helped pave the way of like third person stuff too, and it's also just like really good by itself. So, man, it like all this stuff with Resident Evil has got me acting up again. I might jump into that. So we'll see, and I'll give you guys a report on that.
Almost forgot to add. And they also gave us another crab.
Oh yes,
We have two
Rise
crabs.
got two crabs. I like it. One of them's the shield boy, and I'm like, oh no, my natural enemy.
We've got the centaur crab, and then we have this crab.
This crab.
Oh, shield crab. I don't know. I forget the name of the species, but it's shield crab.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was like, are you sending me something? Yeah.
No, not at
all. No. Click. What was that? Nothing.
Nothing.
But okay. I think that's all I really wanted to cover just briefly with Capcom. If we're gonna let Phil like take a good bit of that next time. Final Fantasy VII Anniversary. It's interesting, just as like conceptually by itself, to celebrate 25 years and have it be like a full digital event. But with 7, it's another one of those games that has like a lot of like historical impact on its like player base, and therefore kind of deserves this opportunity to get spotlight, because just because the game by itself is so impactful. They also have like a bunch of other like additional stuff within that main universe. There's whole Crisis Core, there's Dirge of Cerberus, there's Advent Children, just to name just like a couple of those. And
Crisis Core being the one thing that everyone can actually play.
Yes, I was about to get to that, but yes, their event was pretty much just showcasing, one, merch, and second, just all their upcoming projects and stuff like that. Everything's 7 related. So First Soldier, that's still a thing. Season 3 on that one. They talked more about Ever Crisis. There's a closed beta 2022. That's interesting. Closed beta for a mobile app game that's primarily single player. Interesting. We'll see how that plays out. It'll be interesting to follow that one, because Ever Crisis seems to be the more honorable like remake of like the OG Final Fantasy VII, versus how Remake is taking the approach, and Rebirth. And then Crisis Core, which gets like, it's pretty much just remastered from its PSP days and will now be available on all the consoles, all of them. And I think that's a pretty big dub for sure.
Thank you.
Phil, I'm sorry, Mark over here starving, but he now has a chance. Dude, I'm honestly surprised.
Finally.
I think the visuals tell it for me, but it's still kind of a shocker to see it just show up on the Switch. Bro, the Switch? Well, at least we have the option for sure. Hopefully it's not a cloud version though, so we'll see. I would probably, it kind of depends. I don't know what I want to do with the ecosystem of Final Fantasy, because a fair of them are on Xbox, right? But I don't actually. Nah, you know what? I'll keep it to Xbox. I looked back. I was like, you know what? No, a lot of the Final Fantasy I own are on Xbox, so let's just stick with that. And then we got Rebirth, which was the big one. I cannot expand on like the impact, the significance of storytelling, or the presentation of the trailer like other people, like Maximilian dude. But all I can say is that this hits pretty big for fans, new and old, because this is bruh. But also, sorry, Mark. I'm sorry. Because it's still going to be like PlayStation 5. However, I will say, if you're just down to wait forever, Mark,
Forever,
Rebirth and the other like third game will be like specifically on like next generation stuff. So like 4 was, sorry, not 4, not Resident Evil 4. Remake was already like pretty impressive, like a pretty good technical marvel to look at too. But that was kind of like with old stuff. So we're looking at like Unreal 5 on this, and I get really excited thinking about that, like how good it's gonna really look. Cause I was actually made aware of this when someone was uploading a video about like a 7 remake HD mod, and I was like, what does that actually mean? And when you actually see like the comparisons between what they like add on or replace entirely, it's actually really impressive. Like if you look at the flowers, for example, in 7 remake, they're actually pretty flat, not gonna lie. You may have already heard about this too, but remakes like Skybox was actually pretty flat as well. It got touched up later on though in the PlayStation 5 and the Epic Games like versions of them, but just to have like that type of mod, it just showed like the difference in quality from that. So I'm hoping that Unreal 5 will also like help with that type of process for like the little minute like details. So I think that seeing it in next generation stuff is a really good thing after all. But we won't really see Rebirth until like winter 2023. So a lot of time to wait. In the meantime, well, very long time. In the meantime, we'll just wait for 16. Sorry, Mark. Listen, Sony knows what's up. Like whether you like it or not, they know like what sells. So they're quick to get that contract going.
Pain.
And you know, Square Enix just looks at that and I was like, hey, that's money. Okay.
Pain.
But I think that's everything. I think it's been a really eventful week as far as like games and stuff like that. And I'm happy that we finally have this moment in June, despite how hectic it is for me, like in post process, like in post to like go and edit these reactions stuff like that and upload it later. It's still a really good thing. So I think all that's left is honestly anything more Sonic news related, and honestly the Nintendo Direct. We know it's happening this month. I heard from Ibrahim. I've heard it from like Phil. The 29th seems to be like where we're all kind of like heading towards when it comes to Direct, and I'm looking forward to it for sure. See like what else Nintendo's got like in the pot for like the next like for the rest of the year actually. So we'll see. One little quick thing I wanted to add though about Sonic though, really interesting like development on this one. Like obviously it's been a couple weeks now, but since like the teaser of Sonic Frontiers, right? IGN's been supposed to be the ones covering it. And we had a couple teaser stuff, we had some gameplay stuff, we had an impressions video. But I feel like a lot of like, and this is also due to like just like marketing and just like promoting like the whole thing on IGN side. But it felt like that first impressions that happened like that was like the fourth or third video that they posted. Um, that was the one that kind of changed people's like minds about their skepticism. I think there's still a fair bit of skepticism about this game, but that in addition to what we've seen this past week, which was a lot of things off embargo about the footage later on about the game that other people posted, or at least I think Sega. I never really figured that out. Who really distributed that first? I guess it was Sega. They showed off more gameplay stuff, more combat stuff. It looked a lot cleaner, more colors and everything like that. So people were actually really pleased about that. To be honest though, like I saw the initial like gameplay stuff and I felt like that sold me immediately as far as like my concerns about it. And I was like, okay, nah, we should be fine on this one. But for a lot of people, like they were definitely just kind of skeptic about it. So here's hoping we see more like stuff about Sonic Frontiers just as further development goes. And if we haven't gotten a release date yet, hopefully we get one soon. Because I think that we're due for like a good 3D Sonic game for once. I I
Once.
I will at least try Colors Ultimate. I will not try Forces. And
We
yeah,
absolutely refuse.
I refuse to believe it exists. Yeah. Oh, real quick, Dragon's Dogma. There was like that was a quick aside, and that was a whole little like mini like event too.
Dragon's Dogma 2.
I was following Maximilian's like coverage on it. Essentially, it was following the director, one of the OG directors for Capcom like stuff, like just generally speaking, and just a reflections on Dragon's Dogma. Um, so it actually expanded more than just like Dogma. It was also like the other games like he was working on. Um, but it ended with like the reveal of Dogma 2 via a shirt reveal, which is so and so. But the fact is, you get a second one coming up. I was actually really curious about like this game. I want to bring this up because especially for those who are also curious about like Dragon's Dogma, especially if you have an Xbox One or a Series X or S. Um this was actually more recently. This was somewhere around late May that I got a what was it? I got a message, an Xbox message actually from Microsoft, or rather that there's going to be like a $5 little additional like credit that you're given to your Microsoft account. And I heard from what was it, Wario64 on Twitter that they were going to do another one, another $5 like added thing to your account that would expire around like mid-September, but you could definitely just redeem it. And Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen for Xbox is actually on sale for I believe $4.49. So
$4.
it is a free if you use that. And that's exactly what I did before I left to see David today. I was really debating whether I wanted to get it for like Xbox or Steam, but like that $5 like just sold me immediately. All right, now you got me.
$4.
Yeah, it's a really good deal because Steam has it like on sale for like $4.79. So it's already a little bit slightly more expensive, but like it's still like $5. So I'm gonna see what the hype's about. Hopefully soon, right? It's gonna be added to the backlog, unfortunately. Otherwise, but that's cool. It just lined up perfectly. So it's crazy like how many good deals you get like from like Microsoft slash Xbox, and it not being relatively related to like Game Pass even. Which reminds me, real quick, this was a shock when I heard it from Phil. Phil didn't actually know the price point for Game Pass, actually, just being like an additional $5 more. I assumed he knew, but I guess he didn't. So now he's currently using it as a way to kind of test out games before buying it, which is actually the whole mentality of Game Pass, just like initially when it was like within conception. Um, that it was pretty much like game rental just digitally, and it's crazy that like it is what it is now, but you can still use it like however you want to, and it's still really cheap for it. So for Phil, I hope that he gets a lot of mileage out of it because once we got off of our of his stream yesterday with Shredder's Revenge, he did take a look at the library while I was on call, and he like just saw a bunch of games that he wanted to try out, so he just added those on a list. And I was like, damn, dude. Like, if time allows for it, he's gonna have a ball with that. But happy for him to discover all those games as well. But I think that's everything. Where are we? We're actually an hour in. Was there anything else we want to add up? I think it's actually a really good time to wrap it. Just wrap it. Mark? Ohio? Okay. Mark is being unresponsive. I think he's dying. Hold on. I gotta go save him. I'm just gonna nonchalantly like go across like the country to save him. Nah, he'll be fine. But I think for now I think we're pretty much good to go. So I think next week, we're gonna see how things play out. I'm hoping that we do get like some more like news, like game coverage wise, like big events and whatnot. But I don't think there's anything coming up soon. Actually, you know what? I could check it out like right now, like while we're still on. I just have to look up Summer's Game Fest and see what's up on their schedule. I'm pretty much following what they're doing.
Live news.
Live news. Actually, they do have like the multiverses showcase. Um they're saying the second like pro player showcase from multiverses. That's gonna be on the 21st, so that's on a Tuesday. I actually am interested in multiverses and seeing like how all that plays out. I have seen quite a bit of gameplay for when the closed beta was available, so
It looks fun.
it does actually. I'm also just in it to hear like all the screams from Tom.
Ow!
Oh, I love those so much, but I'm curious on the development because that is one of the couple like platform, and there's quite a few like platform fighting games like that isn't Smash Brothers, but I feel like Multiverses, because it is like Warner Brothers, that has a lot of money put into it. Like a lot of money, and you see it.
We need something to fill the gap that Smash has left.
A visit to Spain with the S.
What?
But yeah, that's me on a trip to Spain without the S. But
Spain. I see pain.
mm. Yeah, that's the only little bit of like news like from Summer Game Fest. I think otherwise, we might see something for Direct, possibly on the 29th, but that's still kind of like pending. We'll keep an eye out for it. In the meantime, I think next week we're gonna have Phil come back in and talk about it. Otherwise, you know, whenever he has the opportunity to do so. I'm just glad we were able to do coverage for the things that we were really interested in. But I think other than that, up until we get to Direct, I think news will be a little bit slow on the gaming side of things. But I'm glad that we were able to see pretty much it at its busiest this past week, because lots of stuff to be excited for going forward. So, alrighty, I think that's pretty much it. Mark, real quick, anything else you want to add before we go ahead and call?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Okay. Then in that case, we'll go ahead and leave it here. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been episode 416 of DangIT Prodcast. My name is Justin.
Mark.
And thanks for watching, everybody. #bye, everybody.
Lay up.